People, Deluded, I'm back again. Good afternoon, and I hope you're all doing well and safe. I say good afternoon, it's my lunch break. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are on this earth. I hope you and your family are all doing well and safe. Now, there's been some, not major news, but in relation to the young players, or specifically one young player, Zech Medley. Now, he's a name that most Arsenal fans know of. You know, we haven't seen a centre-half come through our academy since Tony Adams and have a sustained career at Arsenal. And for me, that's told you historically how Arsenal have looked at defending, because you know for maybe not so much now under after Wenger's left, but maybe including obviously Wenger's left a legacy, we all knew the type of players that was going to come through our academy. You know, small, sort of agile, you know, techie sort of players. Or if it's not necessarily a height thing, you all knew like the standard was going to be you can play football and you're more technical strengths and you're more of an attacking player. You know, the players that have come through our academy and played in defence almost accidentally, and I say that because obviously Bellerin, when we scouted him, we said, listen, you're not going to cut as a right winger, adapt yourself, become a right back. But he wasn't a right back by trade, you get it? He slipped in there, do you get it? Well, obviously Ashley Cole came through our academy previously. He is not a centre half, so he's irrelevant. Kieran Gibbs played on the flanks as well as central midfield, made a career of him at a point at left back, and I'm sure if we scrutinise it even more, there's more. So I badly want a centre half to come through Arsenal's academy. I don't I believe in fixing things in house. I badly want an academy prospect to come through. Medley needs to go out on loan. Apparently he's on the verge of joining Gillingham if he hasn't officially been confirmed. By the time of this video coming out, apparently he'll train with the team for the first time this afternoon, and for me it's what's needed. You know, he's joined the League One club. I know many people say, why couldn't he get Championship and this, that, and there might be some truth to that, but for me it's a step up from 23s. With all due respect to 23s football, I think a defender like Zech Medley, he has left that level. I don't always feel watching him and several other defenders that you necessarily are being challenged, because for Medley, he's physically stronger than everyone, more time, technically he can play. You know, when you're a defender and you make a mistake at a League One level, you immediately are punished. But sometimes when you're a defender at under 23s, it's not punished, so you don't necessarily see what you've done wrong. It's the same for strikers. When you're scoring everything, you don't necessarily have to change up your play, do you get it? And Medley is that. Medley's needed, in my opinion, my humble opinion as a fan, needed to go on loan a couple of years ago, needed to go on loan last year, but for whatever reason, he elected to stay. Apparently he was going to go out on loan. Steve Bold made him the captain, because the facts are there. He's 20, he's made 3 appearances at first team level for Arsenal, and so far that's his senior career. Minutes are currency, and at this age you got to be selfish. You know, Medley, McGuinness, Clark, Ballard, they've all got to be selfish. From a club perspective point of view, it might be a bit naive to think all of our under 23 defenders go on loan, but if you're selfish, Zech Medley, Mark McGuinness, Danny Ballard, Harry Clark even, who's had a fantastic season at that level next year, might actually stay, because he might think, you know, if all these guys go out on loan, I might be the one to get some minutes. They all need to be selfish, and I think obviously training with the first team of things is a different thing, but for me, minutes are currency. You can train with the first team as much as you want. Occasionally at 23's level, you might be playing a first team level striker who's not getting minutes, but you're not learning. For me, you go League One, you go Premiership, you go Championship, or whatever professional league, you're immediately fighting for something. Like, I'm not a Gillingham fan. I don't know if they, I don't know what Gillingham's doing, but they're probably trying to fight relegation from League One or get promoted or a mid-table finish within respectively, innit? So there's expectation. You've got to perform consistently. People's jobs are on the line. Do you get it? So Medley and whoever's got to go to these clubs and fight. It doesn't matter that you're Arsenal's young player. You're all fighting, you know. You're fighting for your jobs. Do you get it? Football is real. And obviously week in, week out, day in, day out, week in, week out, you're going to need to display consistencies to your manager to show why I'm the guy. Because obviously when you're one of the top boys at 23s, you're going to know, you're going to play. Medley's going to go where he's going to have to earn his stripes now. He's going to have to prove. Obviously they've brought him in because he thinks he's got quality. But he's going to have to prove to them, yo, listen, when you're doing your match day squads, I'm the first name on the team sheet, and he's going to have to fight in training. I think that's what you need. Consistency in training, consistency in games. He's going to play games where, and it's needed, he's going to have terrible games. You don't, no defender has advanced not having terrible games. They've been run ragged. Do you get it? There's going to be times where he's going to show his quality, times where he's had bad games, times collectively where the team's been tough. And this is what you need. If he goes into League One, I want him to dominate every striker, of course. But if he goes and gets, if he plays someone that's a target man and he's physically stronger than him, when that game's done, he's going to say, yo, listen, that guy was stronger than me. How can I combat that if I come in this situation again? He might be playing against a target man. He might be playing against, you know, them strikers that don't do anything for 89th minute. You think you've had them in your pocket. 90th minute comes, they bag 3 points, they're gone. So there's them poachers, there's them man that hang on the last shoulder, there's them physical man, target man that will relish every physical battle. There's them street smart strikers, like I always say, Glenn Murray, very street smart as he gets older. You get it? There's all different sorts of strikers and things, and then you have to learn to deal with this. I don't know how Gillingham play tactically, you know, but he's going to have to adjust tactically. How Arsenal play and how Gillingham play are probably different. Now, with all due respect to Gillingham, I can probably imagine there's going to be more long balls and less sort of technical based play. So Medley's going to have to show his qualities that he's got as a person, that he's learnt through Arsenal and Chelsea in his football development, but crucially adapt. And I think there's no substitute for this. Minutes are currency. Listen, once Medley gets a taste for this, he's not going to want to go back. It's like Ben Shave. Why do you think you never see him coaching with the 23s? Because once you get that taste for first team football, you don't want to go back. Like Benassia, he went out on loan. He said, I'm not on playing 23s football. He had 3 years left on his deal. The club are moving iffy. He kept it moving. Minutes are current. Look at Jadon Sancho. Would Jadon Sancho be this guy right now if he stayed at City? He might have got opportunities. He might have still been this Jadon Sancho. He might be, you know, winning the one Prem with them and things like that. But that's all mites. He's left where he kind of got insurances to develop. And again, minutes are currency. Do you get it? Minutes are currency, and Medley's been deprived of them, and I think he needs to get that. And obviously, crucially, if you look at the situation at Arsenal, you can't really, I don't know much if things can change, but you can't really see much game time for many of our young centre-halves beyond 23s level, because you lot know we've got however many centre-halves on the book at first team level. We're spoken of bringing another one in addition to Saliba. So where are the minutes going to come from Medley? And I think with all due respect to Medley and these defenders, I know some men have had injuries, and you can still make it at Arsenal. I think considering Arsenal's long crisis with injuries and our, you know, and our indifferences over who is a good centre half, I feel if you lot were going to be selected from this level to step up, you would have already. Again, that doesn't mean the fact. That's just my humble opinion. I genuinely feel if they really believed in a couple of you lot with the chances that's been given to the more attacking players, some of you could have grabbed it. Obviously, Medley can do a job at left back as well, and that might help him. And again, I don't know Gillingham's squad, but just from a little browse online before I came and done this, you've seen that they've lost a defender. I don't know if he's a centre half, Barry Fuller. I'm going to assume at 35 he's a centre half. Can't imagine he's a fullback. And just from a quick little Google search, I don't know if transfer marks being nasty to me, but it's only showing me 2 centre halves within that squad. Again, I imagine they have more than that, but again, they're a team that needs a centre half. They're a team kind of lacking defensive options, so it's all on Medley to go there, nail it down, and make it his own, which I believe he can if he does that. For me, you know, he's going to play for an experienced manager in Steve Evans. Gillingham have a couple of other teenagers, you know. Medley, if you don't remember Joe Willock's brother Matty Willock's at Gillingham, so I don't know if Medley and him have crossed paths in the academy and whatnot, but you've got a couple young players there. I think the average squad is 25, so it's not the oldest, but it's not the least experienced. So there's a lot for Medley to work on, and you know, I think it's a good move for him, because like I said, fundamentally, minutes are currency. You know, he's at the age now where when you start in August and you finish your season in May, you've got to say, am I a dramatically better player than I was last year? There's none of this 15% progress. I think Medley will be able to look back at this loan spell, whether it's been a success by fans or not. He's learned, because last season, would I necessarily say he's learned a lot? Maybe if he asks him how Bold's been with him at centre half and maybe the occasional game at 23s. But listen, there's no substitute. Psychologically, Medley's going to have to deal with things as well. There's a lot to be done. He's out of that safety net and academy environment, and the better you get out of that, the more chance you have. And like I said, he's 20 now. He needs to go and play. Moving away from that, like I said, you look at Mark McGuinness in the academy. He'll probably stay with the 23s. Does he go out on loan? From a selfish point of view, probably should. Daniel Ballard was robbed of his loan spell at Swindon because of an injury. He's probably chomping at the bit to go on loan again. Ben Schaefer can fill in midfield as well as centre-half. He's probably going to keep it moving, so he's not an option. You've got Harry Clark. My guess is Harry Clark, the 19-year-old, will stay this season with the 23s and things. But even him, from a selfish point of view, do you want to go out on loan and get football? There is going to be substantial minutes, I believe, at 23s level for people. Like, again, you know, Balogun's linked with a move away. Tyrese Johns will potentially, if not assurance, he goes out on loan. Eddie's with the first team. Who plays up front? You can imagine Sam Greenwood and our young under-18 scholar Kyan Edwards first year. Play your cards right, he might get game time. We've seen a numerous amount of midfielders leave, and you can imagine Oli Inca will leave as well. So gaps are going to open up. Ben Cottrell stepping up to this level already. So you know, him and Aziz are going to get substantial minutes. I'm hoping Charlie Patton, or another first year, gets game time. Maziz Agongbo is probably going to get a lot of minutes at 23s level. Again, another schoolboy who played under 18s frequently. Mon Louise, I'd be surprised if he isn't on the bench for a couple of times for the 23s if he doesn't play. So it's going to be interesting what happens, people. It really is going to be interesting. Away from that though, folks, and former Arsenal youth striker Alfie Matthews is allegedly, courtesy of George Bird, another good youth watcher of stuff. He said that he's on trial at Crystal Palace, and you know, Matthews hasn't had a good time. You know, he hasn't been given a pro deal, so you need to move elsewhere. He was linked with Newcastle, not too sure what that's happened there. And he was one of the young players I was most excited about, people. But this is the thing, people stagnate. You know, Josh Martin, another one. He stagnated, he's left and went to Norwich and been able to show his quality. He's been on the first team bench for Norwich and made a couple minutes here and there. And, you know, would that have happened for you at Arsenal? Nobody knows, but I'm happy for him. So that's what Alfie Matthews needs to do. Go and prove Arsenal wrong for selling you. Go and show the others what you could do. And if you sign for Palace, that's decent, because they're now a Cat 1 club. You know, you've seen Brandon Pierrick. You know, a couple of young players are in and around the first team training at Palace. I wouldn't go as far as to say anyone's an established first teamer yet, but there's opportunities there. So we'll have to see what happens in that regards and with him, people. But it'd be interesting to see who gets minutes at 23s level. It'd be interesting to see who goes out on loan. But for now, it's always a pleasure. DG, I'm out, folks.